Macavity, the mystery cat. Macavity is a mystery cat. He is called the hidden foe, for he is the master criminal who can defy the law. He is the bafflement of Scotland Yard, the flying Scots' despair. For when they reach the scene of crime, Macavity is not there. Macavity, Macavity. There is no one like Macavity. He has broken every human law. He breaks the law of gravity. His powers of levitation would make a fakir stare. And when you reach the scene of crime, Macavity is not there. You may seek him in the basement, you may look up in the air, but I tell you once and once again, Macavity is not there. Macavity is a ginger cat. He is very tall and thin. You would know him if you saw him, for his eyes are sunken in. His brow is deeply lined with thought, his head is highly doomed. His coat is dusty from neglect, his whiskers are uncombed. He sways his head from side to side with movements like a snake, and when you think he is half asleep, he is always wide awake. Macavity, Macavity, there is no one like Macavity. For he is a fiend in feline shape, a monster of depravity. You may meet him in a by street, you may see him in the square, but when a crime is discovered, then Macavity is not there. Macavity, the Mystery Cat by T.S. Eliot is a poem where the poet has personified a cat named Macavity. Personified means we have given the human-like qualities to a non-human thing. That is, here the poet has compared the cat with many human-like qualities. And he says that the cat disobeys the laws and the police force is unable to catch him. And the poet further describes Macavity as a special cat as he can float in the air and possess various other magical powers. And the complete poem is based on describing Macavity, a perfect mystery cat. Macavity is a mystery cat. He is called the hidden foe, for he is a master criminal who can defy the law. In this line, the poet describes the story of a cat, and the name is Macavity. And Macavity is also known as hidden foe, and he is a master criminal who can break the law. He is the bafflement of Scotland Yard, the flying Scots' despair. For when they reach the scene of crime, Macavity is not there. See, I have already told you he is a master criminal who can break the law. And even the Scotland Yard police and the Flying Squad of England failed to catch him. And Macavity is a mastermind and does not leave any evidence on the crime scene. And due to this, the police never succeed in catching him. Macavity, Macavity, there is no one like Macavity. He has broken every human law. He breaks the law of gravity. In the second stanza, the poet says that Macavity is unique. And there is no one quite like Macavity. He breaks every human law and even the law of nature. That is why he says he breaks the law of gravity. The gravity is a law of nature and he is able to break even the law of nature. His powers of levitation would make a fakir stare. And when you reach the scene of crime, Macavity is not there. So in the previous line, I have told you the cat, Macavity, is able to break every human law and even the law of nature. It is he is having a special ability to float in the air without any physical support. And it makes even a fakir wonder about his power. And surprisingly, when people reach this crime scene, they cannot find him. You may seek him in the basement, you may look up in the air, but I tell you once and once again, Macavity is not there. So here the poet elaborates that neither can he be found in the basement nor in the air. And Macavity runs away from the crime scene extremely fast. That is why nobody is able to find him in the crime scene. Macavity is a ginger cat. He is very tall and thin. You would know him if you saw him, for his eyes are sunken in. In the third stanza, the poet describes the physical appearance of Macavity. And he says that Macavity is a ginger cat. Ginger cat means, like when we are seeing ginger, we can see it is brown in color. Likewise, his body is also brownish in color. And one more meaning is there for ginger. Ginger means he is very cautious. He is extremely vigorous, energetic cat. Okay. And he is very tall and thin. And what is the specialty of his eyes? His eyes are just sunken in. His brow is deeply lined with thought, his head is highly domed. His skirt is dusty from neglect, his whiskers are uncombed. So we know that his eyes, Macavity's eyes are sunken, and the specialty of his brows are they are deeply wrinkled. And his head is round like a dome. When you are seeing Taj Mahal, you can see it is having a dome. Okay, so likewise, his head is also having the shape like a dome. And the coat of Macavity is full of dust, and his hair is uncombed. He sways his head from side to side with movements like a snake. And when you think he is half asleep, he is always wide awake. Here the poet says that Macavity's head moves from side to side, making movements like a snake. And when you think he is half asleep, he is in fact wide awake. Macavity, there is no one like Macavity, for he is a fiend in feline shape, a monster of depravity. The poet says that there is no one like Macavity. He is the cruelest animal in a cat's shape. And he is a monster of dishonesty and immoral behavior. You may meet him in a by street, you may see him in the square, but when a crime is discovered, then Macavity is not there. Poet says that you can meet him in the street or you may see him in the open ground. However, when a crime is committed, you won't find Macavity there. Once again, I'm just explaining the poem. In the first stanza, the poet says that Macavity is a mystery cat and is known by the name of Hidden Poe. And he is known as Hidden Poe because he is the master criminal and can defy the law. Defy means disobey the law. And he is a bafflement, he is a confusion of Scotland Yard and the pain of the Flying Squad. Flying Squad is actually a branch of the Serious and Organized Crime Command within London's Metropolitan Police Service. And the squad's purpose is to investigate robberies. So this Macavity is a confusion, it is a despair of the Scotland Yard and the Flying Squad. Or in other words, we can say he has made the police of Scotland confused because when the police reaches a scene of crime, he vanishes away. Okay. In the second stanza, the poet repeats the word Macavity. It suggests that police are searching for him everywhere. And according to the poet, there is no one like Macavity, and he has broken every human law as well as the law of gravity. Law of gravity here means that no one can vanish away, but Macavity does. And Macavity's powers of levitation means vanishing away, can make a fakir. A fakir means a religious man stare or surprise. After committing a crime, what Macavity does? He just vanishes away. So when anybody reaches the scene of crime, he will not be able to find him, though he may search him underground, means below, or in the air, that is above. So the poet tells again that he is not there. It is useless to search for Macavity. In the third stanza, we can see the physical features of Macavity. The poet introduces Macavity as a ginger cat as he is tall and thin. And one will know him if he sees him because his eyes are sunken in and his eyebrows are deeply lined with thought. That is, it makes him look like a villain. Whenever we are seeing the film, the villains are always having a deeply lined eyebrows. And his head is domed. Domed means round in shape, and his coat is dusty as he does not keep himself clean. And what is the specialty of his whiskers? His hairs are uncombed and he keeps swaying his head from one side to another that is similar to the movements of a snake. And when someone would think that he is half asleep, in reality he is awake and in a complete sense. In the last stanza, according to the poet, no one is like Macavity, as he is a fiend. Fiend means an evil spirit, a devil in a feline shape. A feline shape means a cat's shape. And he is a monster of depravity. Depravity means he is morally corrupt. And no one can find and meet him in a anyone can find him and meet him in a by street or in the square. But after his crime is discovered, what will happen? He vanishes away and cannot be found. So this is all about the poem. And if you have any doubt regarding this poem, please do clarify at the earliest. Thank you for watching.